happening, everybody? Welcome back to the TB Toycast YouTube channel and another edition of What's on the Pegs. Of course, this is episode 14, and if you've never seen the show before, I appreciate you checking it out. If you've never seen the channel before, thank you for checking it out. I hope you hit the subscribe button. And what we do on What's on the Pegs is literally what I'm finding out there on my toy hunts. It's different almost week to week, and I hit a bunch of different stores, from Target to Walmart, of course, to a lot of independent toy companies, or toy shops, I guess, rather, I should say. Kind of sometimes if I'm traveling through, or simply some that I hit on a regular basis. More and more independent toy shops are popping up, so I highly recommend checking your areas. And in fact, I just a few months ago did a Google search for toy stores in my area, and one popped up that I didn't know about. I'm like, wait a minute. What? And then I checked it out, and I'm like, oh, wow, he has a toy store here. And I asked the guy, how long have you been open? He goes, oh, about a year. And I'm like, and I didn't even know about it. So I do recommend checking your area and checking toy shops. You never know. They pop up all the time. But this week I'm starting off with kind of a fun one. G.I. Joe Classified is obviously a lot of fun. How about Blowtorch, a new figure? Found him there at Target. I kind of go hot and cold with the G.I. Joe Classified. I love the line. I think they're super fun. It's just one of those things, after a while, a line gets so big, so deep, you kind of are just like, I think I'm over it for now. But I do want to start picking some of these up, but there's so much I want to collect, and that's a big problem I have, and I'm sure you guys do as well, where there's so much out there, there's so much you want, it's hard to buy it all, so you have to just kind of make decisions sometimes, and right now, Blowtorch is not on the agenda, but hopefully down the road I'll be able to pick up some of these Joes, because they are really, really cool. But I am learning, there's nothing wrong with not being a completist. I've never been a completist per se, but I've always been I want one of every character type of guy. But at the end of the day, that's just not always realistic amongst a multitude of lines. One line, you can probably do it. Multiple, probably not easily done. And then I actually own these, and they're going to be coming up on the channel, but I had to take this picture because I thought it was cool. The Usos, Jimmy and Jay Uso, back in the day when they were rocking the neon face paint and the neon shorts, I always thought this was a cool look for them. 2012, 2013-ish, I always thought this was a fun version of the Usos. So kind of cool to get this back in the line. Perfect addition for the greatest hits. To me, a greatest hit should be something that has happened, but it's been a while, and those that missed it, hey, here's your opportunity to get it again. So really cool to see these, and like I said, very, very different versions of the Usos than we're used to. In fact, I would imagine if some people saw these, they might be a little confused, because their versions are Jay Uso so completely different now, but still cool to see. I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you like the greatest hits? I know some people don't like it because they feel like it diminishes the value of what they already have, but that's also kind of the fun of collecting, right? New stuff always coming out, and you never know what it's going to be. So I'm not a Hot Wheels guy at all, but this stopped me in my tracks. The Dumb and Dumber van, Mutt Cuts. One of my all-time favorite movies. I was like, no way. I didn't buy it, but man, how cool is that? Like, that van from Dumb and Dumber was always one of my favorite aspects of that movie. The fact that he actually had to lift the leg to to put the gas in was just hilarious. Everything about that was amazing, and to me, that's I don't buy Hot Wheels, like I said, but if I were going to, this is probably where I would start. Like this, the DeLorean, the A-Team van, if they make that, I'm not sure if they do. If they don't, they should. Kit from Knight Rider, that's the type of stuff that's fun. So, always cool to see, for sure. So I saw this at a resale shop. King Grayskull from the Masterverse line. Man, I had high hopes for the Masterverse line, but a lot of these figures like this really kind of put a bad taste in my mouth, because if you look at him, he's got a soft goods cape, and he's got a couple of accessories. I believe he has an extra head, but this was retailed for $30 and had a bigger box, but you can tell that big box isn't even really necessary. When they started doing that, I feel like it pulled me away from wanting to get more of these. I did buy this at one point, but I actually have since resold it. But I understand you got to try to make your money, and everything's a business. I get all of that, but I was just like, I don't know. I don't know if I agree with that statement. So what do you guys think? It's a cool figure. Here it's $14.99 if you want to buy it used. Not a bad deal at all. But when it was $30 brand new, it's like, ooh, I don't know. But then again, some of these warm the pegs. I know we had a King Grayskull where I live that warmed the pegs for months. Faker as well. But then other ones moved really quickly. So again, you just never know. That's where you have to be careful with the stuff you buy. Some old school Marvel Legends. So this is from Hasbro, but when they first took over the Marvel Legends line, if you notice that logo is much different. This was probably 08, 09. We got Cable and Marvel Girl, a.k.a. Jean Grey. It looks like this is a Walmart exclusive 2-pack. Kind of different than what we see now. As you can see, the articulation and everything's quite a bit different. So, in fact, there's a newer Wolverine behind him if you look a little closely there. This was... When Hasbro first took over, I was not impressed. I remember buying a couple of Toy Biz figures and buying these thinking, oh, maybe they'll be congruent, and I was really not impressed at all. And I don't think a lot of people were. They went away, and then they came back, and they had much more improvement. But initially, Hasbro wasn't exactly killing it with these. As you can see, this used 2-pack, or this 2-pack from back in the day that's a Walmart exclusive is only going for $20, so not crazy expensive. Now, some of these are expensive for sure, but yeah, this definitely wasn't it. The cables they're putting out nowadays, much, much better, but man, old school. Takes you back to the mid-2000s here with this. I had to take a picture of this, a Marvel Select Deadpool. Marvel Select were interesting because they were action figures but more high-end collectibles, and you didn't see these in a lot of places. I remember a store back in the day called Suncoast had a bunch of these, which Suncoast mostly did DVDs, but I remember they carried like the Palisades Muppet figures, Marvel Select, a few other things, some Round 5 Street Fighter figures, more collectible stuff than actual toys. And while Marvel Select was great, they were a little expensive for the time, about $30, which doesn't sound bad now, but you know, early 2000s, a lot of things were 10 or 15, so it was a lot different. And so I thought these were a little bit expensive. Now these are still about 30, but I've heard Diamond Select is actually going out of business, and so Marvel Select will be no more, which is unfortunate because you can see this is a really nice looking Deadpool. Would you be better off to get a Marvel Legends? I guess that's up to whoever's collecting it. These are fun, but again, I don't think the Marvel Select line went nearly as deep as Marvel Legends. So if you want to just get a few key characters, this might be the way to go. If not, maybe not for you. But it is cool to see it. $20 used, still on the card. Not a bad deal though. I always tell myself I'm not doing pops, and then I see this and I'm like, oh, that's really cool. I had to take a picture because they were right next to each other. It's a DC and Marvel, and they are holiday pops. You get Batgirl kind of representing the holidays, as well as Captain America. Both kind of winterized. If you look closely, Batgirl's got the Santa hat on. She's got snow on her head. Hopefully that's snow. Looks like a Santa-looking cape. And Captain America's got a snow cap. And it looks like he's got Christmas lights there on his shield. So these are certainly unique. And definitely not really based off anything, but to me, that's what makes them fun. And I don't know, I dig these. I think these are really cool. Like, I am completely out of pops. I'm at a point in my life where I'm not going to collect pops again, but if I ever did dive in, holiday decoration type stuff would probably be where I go, because these are really, really cool. But again, I'm going to try my best to stay away from it. I had to take a picture of these because these were unbelievable. Toy Biz, Spider-Man, and Kingpin. There's a few others. I didn't get pictures of all of them, but I loved the Spider-Man line from Toy Biz. Look at that card. That card art is absolutely incredible. Kingpin was such a good villain, and that Spider-Man is awesome. These figures to me still hold up. I've always loved this style, like these vintage Toy Biz figures. Looks like $28 for Spider-Man and $30 for Kingpin, so a little on the expensive side, but at the end of the day, this is really, really cool. I believe I have both of these loose, but seeing them on card, it brings it to a whole nother level. Really, really cool stuff. And some more of these. We got Punisher, we've got Nick Fury, Tombstone, and several others. So cool. Like, that Punisher figure is just absolutely amazing. Nick Fury was super, super cool. This was kind of my introduction to Nick Fury. Looks like Tombstone there is a really cool one as well. I always thought his episodes on Spider-Man were great. So, like I said, these Toy Biz figures were really, really cool stuff back in the day. So I didn't know about these, but I did know Just Toys did a lot of other Bindom lines. I did not know they did Star Wars Bindoms. Were you guys aware of that? I know back in the day they did X-Men. I know they did Power Rangers and a few others. They even did a WCW line back in the day. Most of us remember the WWF line that started in about 1995, but I didn't realize they ventured off into other stuff. So, not the most expensive figures in the world, but I guess if you're like, ooh, I really like these, you can go for it. Probably not for me, but it's kind of cool to see, right? That's the whole point of visiting a vintage toy store, is the cool stuff you can see. And then I had to get a picture of these, the freaking Dick Tracy line. These were so cool. Not super expensive, still mint on card. We got Dick Tracy, we got Steve the Tramp, we got Shoulders, Sam Ketchum. And I don't know if you can see in the picture, we got Lips Manless and the Rodent. I can't see prices on them, but Dick Tracy $30, Steve the Tramp $20, mint on card. That's not a bad deal. These figures were super cool. Travis from TB Toycast has actually made a statement before. He really thinks that these were all supposed to have soft good jackets. Because if you look, Dick Tracy always had that big yellow jacket, and I'm like, ooh, you're probably right about that. Kind of crazy to think how good these would have looked if they had that. It would definitely change the landscape of this line, big time if that were to be the case. And then a couple more here. Like I said, I love vintage toy stores because you literally never know what you're going to see. I got the those vintage Spider-Man, Venom, Doc Ock, Thor. I always love these gray cards. These were awesome. And kind of like the prelude for, excuse me, what we saw with X-Men and Spider-Man and Fantastic Four. But yeah, just absolutely awesome. The artwork is great. The figures are super fun. Then, of course, there's a current-day Marvel Legends there next to it, the AIM Supreme Scientist. It's so crazy how much that's changed in just a short amount of time. But really, really cool stuff. Like I said, these were so much fun back in the day. And this line is actually my introduction to the Punisher. I remember turning the card around and seeing the Punisher for the first time. I didn't know who he was, but he had this black suit with a white skull, and it said Punisher. And I'm like, that dude looks awesome. I want that figure. And we'll round it out with this, a starting lineup. You don't see a lot of starting lineups out on the pegs. You can see there's a Michael Jordan there next to him. I actually that was in a previous episode, if you're curious, but that one's about $50. This one, $10 takes it home. It is Alonzo, what is that? Alonzo Mourning, yeah. $10 for this guy, 1994 edition, comes with a card. These were great, man. I love starting lineup. I never had any as a kid. But if you've been watching the channel, I've unboxed a couple. I got a bunch more to come. I haven't dove into basketball yet. I'm trying to stay with just baseball for now, with maybe a few football and basketball sprinkled in. But yeah, very, very cool. And like I said, what's cool about this collection is they don't break the bank. So to me, that's really fun. Definitely cool stuff. And I don't know, maybe something I'll have to pick up again down the road. But who's to say? But that's it for this edition of What's on the Pegs. But let me know what you found. Did you find anything cool? Send me a picture. I will probably put it up on a future episode. You can send those to @TBToycast. But also, let me know what you found. Drop it in the comments down below. If you could share the video and tell a couple of friends, that helps out this channel more than you know. The channel is growing, but I want to get more people on here. So if you guys could help me with that, I would very much appreciate it. We're dropping 4 videos every single week. We have 3 unboxing videos on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and then What's on the Pegs dropping every Saturday. And once a month, I'm doing Tales of the Toy Box. In fact, 3 episodes of that are currently available with G.I. Joe Street Fighter, WWF Hasbro Series 1, and then most recently the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Series 1. In episode 4, I've already talked about it, will be all about X-Men. Very excited about that. So check all that out. Also check out the TB Toycast podcast, dropping a new episode every Thursday. In fact, we dropped it a day early this past week because we were talking all about San Diego Comic-Con predictions, which was a lot of fun. Of course, San Diego Comic-Con, a huge time for anyone in the wrestling, or not in the wrestling, in the toy world, because all the reveals happen at SDCC. So always cool to talk about. But that's all I got. Thank you guys for checking out the TB Toycast YouTube channel. This is What's on the Pegs, and we will see you in the toy aisle.
Yeah. One more time. It ain't over till I say it's over. So lock the cage up, cause this is a takeover. The wait's over. If this the final time we meet, then you'll be on your back on my feet. Then I'll tip the cage over as a hangover. I'm super fly so I can splash off the top. And I can shut down the shot. Baby Savage, I'm the